Hey there, HS Finance family. We've got a crucial topic on our table today. We're going to take a deep dive into some hot-button issues that shake many quarters in Canada. Homelessness and housing affordability are on the rise, putting many Canadians in a tough spot. Building the almost 6 million homes needed could send the country's borrowing into the stratosphere. But why isn't the government doing something about it? Is it because of the potential backlash due to falling house prices that might be the inevitable aftermath of such interventions? Now, factor in the immigration numbers. Some individuals, unjustly labeled as xenophobic, question the influx of new migrants, suggesting it further strains resources. This perspective is shared by some immigrants themselves. Yet, such worries seem to fall on policymakers' deaf ears, with immigration targets set to exceed the 500,000 mark by 2025. On top of all this, the cost of living here is skyrocketing, and higher interest rates could push households beyond the edge. Recent data suggests around half of Canadians are barely $200 away from financial catastrophe, with many already battling to pay bills and debts. What's even more concerning is that millennials are disproportionately affected. With the Bank of Canada poised to raise interest rates, this crisis could intensify. The government rationalizes this as a measure to control inflation. Meanwhile, many are bracing for a potential recession by cutting back on retirement savings and ramping up their own emergency funds. Groceries, an essential part of our lives, are becoming a luxury. Unpredictable global supply chains, extreme weather affecting food supply, and rising inflation all contribute to this surge in prices. So what makes Canada different? The grocery sector here has, over time, become a virtual triopoly, dominated by Loblaw, Sobeys, and Metro. This concentration of market power significantly molds pricing and the choices available to Canadian households. Lately, these bigwigs, along with government representatives, held vital discussions aimed at tackling this issue. The government has hinted at the possibility of new taxes if viable solutions aren't proposed. However, it's imperative to mention that the root of the problem extends beyond the retail level. Farmers, producers, and manufacturers all have a role in this too. Apart from grocery prices, numerous other expenses are also stretching Canadian wallets. With an average weekly expense hike of $230, the government is planning the introduction of comprehensive legislation aimed at curbing inflation and addressing the pressing need for affordable housing. Now, if you've heard anything about Canadian healthcare, you know it's a gem. It's publicly funded, universally accessible, and ensures that essential care is a right, not a privilege. But the ins and outs of this system are far from perfect. Surgery backlogs, staff shortages, and it's not just the healthcare facilities that are affected, it's the people who rely on them too. Tackling the shadow of opioids in Canada is yet another Herculean task. Opioids were made widely available following a policy change in 1996, causing an extensive and lethal addiction wave. Alarmingly, Canada is currently the world's second-largest per capita consumer of pharmaceutical opioids. The housing crisis, coupled with high immigration rates, poses a significant challenge. On one hand, Canada's commitment to welcoming immigrants is commendable and essential for economic growth. On the other, it adds pressure to an already strained housing market. Balancing these needs requires innovative and sustainable housing policies, significant investments. The potential hike in interest rates by the Bank of Canada, while aimed at curbing inflation, could have unintended consequences. It may help stabilize prices in the long term, but in the short term, this situation calls for a delicate balancing act from policymakers. Regarding the grocery triopoly, it's a stark reminder of how market concentration can impact consumer choices and living costs. The government's involvement could be a step towards ensuring fair pricing, but it's a complex issue that extends through the entire supply chain. The focus should be on fostering competition, supporting local producers, and perhaps exploring alternative food supply models. Moreover, the challenges within the healthcare system, exacerbated by the pandemic, call for urgent and substantial reforms. The system's sustainability is at stake with surgery backlogs, staff shortages, and financial constraints. Canada's healthcare system, while a model in many ways, needs to adapt to the changing needs of its population. And finally, the opioid crisis is a national tragedy that demands a multifaceted response. It's not just about managing the crisis, but also addressing its root causes. In conclusion, these issues are a call to action for comprehensive, thoughtful, and inclusive policymaking. It's an opportunity for Canada to lead by example in addressing modern societal challenges in a humane and effective manner. Thank you for tuning into HFS Finance. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful analysis on global and national financial issues. We appreciate your comments and views, so please let us know your thoughts below. How can Canada best tackle these complex challenges? Until next time, stay informed,